This week's Michigan Lottery Excellence in Education winner is Stephanie Lang from Dakota High School in Macomb Township. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
We have a video from your nominator. Let's take a look.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Yvonne, and I have nominated Stephanie Lang of Dakota High School in Macomb County for the Excellence in Education Award. Stephanie is a social worker and has great dedication to junior high and high school kids, especially those who identify as LGBTQ+. Stephanie started a Stand With Trans chapter at Dakota High School and always takes the time to counsel any kid who comes to her. Through her Stand With Trans following, she imparts a wealth of information and education to the parents and trans kids. Stephanie's Stand With Trans has followers ranging from all over the United States to Michigan, and all I can say is she deserves this, and God bless her for all she does. Thank you.
Stephanie, when you watched that video, what was going through your head?
Yvonne's in big trouble. That's the first thing. No, I'm totally just joking. But I can appreciate everything that she's saying, that when these students have a right to be safe and to be educated in an environment that supports whatever is going on with them that could interfere with their education. And so being LGBTQ is something that challenges a lot of young people to stay on track at school. And they must stay alive. We have to keep these young kids alive so that they can become adults and figure out what they want to do with themselves.
And this is close to your heart because it's personal.
Heart. It is personal. It's personal on so many levels. With my own son and his own journey with his gender and his sexuality. And also there's a summer camp that I also work with in Howell, Michigan called Camp Talahi, where we have special camp sessions for young people in middle and high school that identify as gender nonconforming, gender diverse, transgender, because those young people often don't get to go to camp. Because am I going to use a boys' bathroom, a girls' bathroom? Is someone going to treat me different with showering or being away from home for so many days? And so just creating these safe places where children can thrive is a huge passion of mine.
Yeah. So you are a student assistant specialist. What does that mean?
So basically, I am a social worker that works with general education students who might not receive additional accommodations or support for things like divorces in their family, drug and alcohol, abuse or addiction for themselves or a family member, incarcerated parents, deceased parents, different kinds of circumstances that might not qualify them for special education accommodations, but can definitely interfere with their focus and their ability to come to school and stay motivated at school.
Yeah, and when you think about it, these kids have so many life issues, as we all do, but their minds are developing. They need help, right?
They do need help. And I think it's a lot of pressure to look a certain way on the outside and to present yourself as put together and focused and having all your goals, your ducks in a row, if you will, And it's just really not realistic. And we know we're human beings and we have the prefrontal cortex development to kind of know when we need to ask for help and to know that things will pass. Intense emotions will pass. Children don't have that experience to know that these intense emotions and circumstances are going to pass. And there is something beyond this particular struggle that I'm facing. So with the Student Assistance Program, we try to help students stay in the moment, focus on their studies, while also accessing important community resources.
So tell me about some of the tools that you use to connect to your students and really help them succeed.
So we do a lot of support groups. I try to help students connect with other students that are going through similar things in their lives. And we will use tools like mindfulness, guided meditation. We will use things like a glitter wand or some way for them to focus on what's happening in the here and now A lot of times our brains will tend to either go far in the future or in the past and maybe catastrophize or make things bigger than they are. And then we can become paralyzed and not be able to focus on right now. So that's a huge problem when you're in high school and you've got all these assignments due. So really helping the students see they're not alone. They can do this. Even though the struggle is real and life is hard, if we all stick together and just go 1 hour at a time, 1 day at a time, they can do this.
And you work after school a lot with your kids. Talk about that. Why do you do that? You don't have to.
Yeah, I find that after school is when a lot of the magic happens, to be honest. Kids are done with their day. They can just kind of let their guard down a little bit, take a breath. And that's sometimes when we have an opportunity to regroup and try to figure out, okay, what can you actually do tonight? How can you be better prepared for tomorrow? And getting them into those routines that a lot of adults just do without thinking. We go home and kind of plan for tomorrow. We're not born with that skill. We have to learn that skill. So after school, and some of the times, whether it's in a club or another environment, we had a bunch of yarn donated to the school, and kids started a little crochet club just out of nowhere. They're making hats, they're making scarves, they're making all kinds of little things. And I got just the kids coming in, sitting down and crocheting and knitting and being creative. I mean, that's a great way for them to practice mindfulness without knowing that they're practicing mindfulness. It's so beautiful. So any little way that we can connect them to the here and now and to help them realize that they have everything they need inside of them to succeed. We just have to figure out how to get it to the forefront. That's the cool thing about my job.
I love that. I always ask this question. Fast forward 20 years into the future, you run into a former student. What do you hope that they say to you about their experience with you?
Yeah, it's so cool that you say that, because this has already happened where I've had students come up to me like at Lakeside Mall or whatever and just, Mrs. Lang, and want to give me a big hug. And students have told me they've gotten sober, they're in recovery, they've started a family. Maybe they've figured out how to navigate a difficult relationship with a parent. They went to college when they didn't think it was possible, or they found a trade or a skill that brings them joy. Any way that a child can fulfill their own potential, whatever that looks like for them, that's exciting to me, because there's a point in time where these kids really look me in the eye and they don't have any hope. They don't feel like they can do it. And so sometimes at school is where they can find that safe, positive, trusting adult while things might be really challenging at home, and a place where they can just be themselves and just go slow and figure it out without all these expectations being put on them.
You're not only helping teach students, but you're helping save lives.
I'd like to think so. I'd like to think that student assistance programs everywhere help children, help to save lives and to keep kids going another day. And then they see that the really difficult, challenging, painful emotion did actually pass. And that's not just something that some adult said to me. It's real. And then they can start to trust in it themselves.
What would you say to the adult that's watching that says, well, they just need to go to school and learn?
Yeah, well, they do need to go to school and learn. And there's more to a person than, I wish that was true. Come to school and learn and then go home and have an emotion. Those two things can't be separated. It's kind of like how in the state of Michigan, Debbie Stabenow helped us put the neck back on the person. When you go to the doctor, you can get your mental health needs treated at the same time. That's kind of what schools have to be, is an integrated place. You can't expect a child to leave their emotions at home, come to school, and then just don't feel anything till you get home. And a lot of adults who tell kids, stop being so dramatic. Let your kid be dramatic. They're a kid. Let them feel things. Let them explore. Let them figure it out. Don't invalidate your child. If you just validate it and let your child feel stuff, then you will see that it will pass also. It will pass for everyone. The teenage years are not fun really for anyone, parent or child. And we do a lot of parenting programs through student assistance as well to help parents survive the teenage years as well. It's a whole family unit situation, and everybody can kind of work together towards the end, which everybody wants, which is walking across that stage with your diploma and figuring out what's the next step.
Well, thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you. Stephanie receives a $1,500 check from the Michigan Lottery, and her class at Dakota High School in Macomb Township receives a $500 grant. Excellence in Education Award sponsored by the Michigan Lottery, providing more than $27 billion to public education since 1972.